Um,
Yeah,
um,
go. You know what? I just realized too. I just ran in the house and my dog's barking. So
oh,
just
it's
said,
okay. Go get him. Yeah, Gabrielle, that Show Me the Money call is amazing. You guys, if you haven't gotten to listen to it, I'm actually probably going to listen to it a second time. It was so, so good.
all right,
You ready?
ready.
Okay, awesome. Okay, welcome tonight, you guys, to the Tips from the Top. Tonight, I am so excited. We have a very special guest and a very good friend of ours, Stacey Alcala, that's on tonight. She just promoted to ambassador last month and earned herself a $25,000 bonus. So we're just gonna jump right in. Stacey, you've been in for about, is it 5 years, like on the dot, or how long has it been?
It'll be 5 years in July, so just short of
Just
5 years.
shy.
Yeah.
Okay, so not even 5 years in, that's just crazy because truthfully, what did you start for?
I mean, really, I was hoping that I wouldn't lose money. Let's be honest. I'm like, what did Sherry get me into? But I mean, I was thinking, man, if I could be making $300 to $500 a month doing this, how amazing would that be for our family?
Yes, and this is what I love because you know what, I was probably the same exact way as you. I'm like, okay, first goal, break even, and then I'm like, okay, second goal, maybe cover my products I want to use. Third goal, let's see some positive numbers. And I think my ultimate goal was $500, you guys. And I feel like that's something that we hear on repeat from people when we're doing Tips from the Top. So, right, like, I mean, there's all sorts of leaders, which is crazy because they're making so much more than that. So just kind of set that in mind and just know, like, it's okay to start small. It's okay to start scared. It's okay to start skeptical, but as you start plugging in and you get closer to the fire, those things kind of subside and you start really growing into, I mean, really running a huge business and having so much potential. So, Stacey, just give us a little rundown. And you guys, this is like, I always say this, when you've been in for years, I'm old, but Stacey, you're like not even 5 years. I'm like, just over 7 years. But I always say it's really hard to kind of, Lindsay says 7 years today. That's so crazy, you guys. And she was sweating. I like made her sign up. So do that. And that's what Sherry pretty much did to Stacey. And look at Stacey's not mad about it. So Stacey, just share with us like how you saw it works or heard about it, where you kind of were at in life, and just how it's changed so much for you guys and your family.
Yeah, for sure. I think about 5 years ago, actually, May is the year before. So 6 years ago, I came home for the first time to be a stay-at-home mom. Joey and I have been in full-time ministry. So that was how we got paid, was ministry was our vocation. And I just needed a break. I was a little wore out in life, and I'm like, Joey got a bit of a promotion at the church we were at, and I'm like, I can come home. And then it was like, oh, I can only be home. That's how it was. We were like, girls can't do anything. I mean, we can eat and sleep in this house, and that's awesome. Let's not drive too far, the gas bill, whatever. So that's kind of where we were. And right, actually in May of 2014, I got a job at the girls' school as the receptionist. So I got hired on for the next year as a receptionist at the girls' school because I didn't want to be away from my kids. I didn't expect myself to be that kind of mom, but I really wanted to be around my kids. That sounds bad, but I really was not that kind of person. I was like, kids are cool, but I got purpose, like that sounds horrible, but everything shifted. I walked Issa into kindergarten and I fell apart. Like we were ready for Joey to be the crier. And we're like, he's looking at me, he's like, what happened to you? And literally her kindergarten teacher was like, we have a room for you. I was crying that bad, ugly crying. So everything switched at that point for me. But we were actually at a kids camp because Joy was children's pastor at the time. And my phone started blowing up. I had no reception, but Sherry Lynn was calling me nonstop. And usually when that happens, it means that Sherry Lynn has a great idea for you. Okay. So you're like, she's like, I have something awesome for you. I'm like, I have no idea what she's trying to do. But I could hop on Facebook and I started to see, before and afters of bellies. And I was like, can you unfollow your sister-in-law? Like, is that going to be okay at Thanksgiving? You know, like, we're not friends anymore on Facebook. So I'm like, what is she doing? What is she doing? But she basically was like, you need to do this. And I told her no. I flat out, I'm not usually not that bold, but the first few times I was like, Sherry Lynn, no way. This is not for me. I am not that kind of person. I can't do it, you know? And honestly, inside it was that I just didn't think I could do it. I believed in her, and you guys know her, you've seen her. You know, she's just fire, no matter what she's doing. And so, but she did literally ask me in some way every day for 3 weeks straight. And she wore me down, and got Joey in on it, and they were like, just go for it, just try it. And literally her line that got me in was, Stacey, let's just try, and if we're not making money in a year, we'll quit. And so that's where it was. I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I had $100. So I didn't share this proudly. I had $100 in an envelope beside my bed because my birthday is in May, and I had been saving my $100 birthday money for a nice pair of boots for when I started as the receptionist at the girls' school. I was like, Target boots are not going to be comfortable enough. They can, you know, they can pass as cute enough, but they are not going to be comfortable enough to make it through the school year. So I literally went to my drawer beside my bed and pulled out my $100 of birthday money and was like, am I really? I remember like shaking, but I will tell you, I'm so glad I didn't get a pair of $100 boots. Like now I'm like, thank goodness that's not what we did. But I took that and I gave it to Joey, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're starting a business. Like, here we go. But we went for it when we got started. There was an opportunity to earn a $10,000 bonus by going diamond in 3 months. And we were all just, I mean, sure, it'd be like, you know, Sarah says this or whatever. We're like, okay, let's just go try it. You know, we did in-home parties. I would drive to Frisco, which is an hour away from where I lived. Sherry would come down here, and we just kind of worked it together. It was fun. We did everything that we were told to do at the time. And I ended up going diamond, which was awesome. It was paying, when I went diamond and got the bonus, it was the same amount of money I was making as a receptionist at the girls' school. So life was busy at the time. I was doing school. I couldn't be on my phone while I was at school. The girls were involved in extracurricular activities, church life. So everything was kind of crazy exploded, but I would find all these little times to just try to work the business. And at conference, they announced double bonuses. And I went double diamond. Conference like blew me away. I was kind of like, what is this? At first I was like, this is what Tupperware people do. Like when I got in the elevator and everybody was wearing like their black, green, and bling, I'm like, I'm one of them. I don't know, you know, like I was trying to figure it out. Yeah. And I remember when Cindy, the first time Cindy spoke, and this is when Orlando, I don't know if you remember that one, but Orlando was my first conference. And Cindy was like, we prayed over every chair. Of the people who are coming here, and you know, we just believe that this business is, you're blessed to be a blessing. And I was like, I kind of looked at Sherry, we were in the back of the room, and I'm like, is this really what God set up for us? Like, how awesome is this, that this is where we are? And so we kind of went from there. I left conference, we didn't know how, but I went double diamond afterwards. You know, Sherry and I were just on the plane, figuring out our charts on the way home. Who can we ask? Who can be a part? And so went double diamond, and then stayed double diamond for a year. And then hopped in the next year after conference, went triple, which was awesome. I went triple. That's when Sherry went ambassador. And then 2 months later, I went presidential with a business without a bonus. But the year before, this is one of my little things. Joey and John are brothers, for anybody who doesn't know that. Some people try to figure out if Sherry and I are sisters or how it all works, but we married brothers. But we walked up with them at Green Carpet, and they gave us, me and Joey, VIP bracelets too before they were supposed to. And so I was a double diamond sitting in VIP section, standing up at anything or like feeling awkward every time they said something. But the next year I was just determined I was not going to go back to Green Carpet and not be in VIP. And at the time it was presidential diamonds. Triple diamonds didn't get to sit in VIP. So I was like, forget the bonus. I'm sitting up front, you know, and I'm supposed to be there. Like, I'm like, I need to have that validation. And so went presidential. And then, you know what? That was all pretty fast. I mean, it wasn't like crazy fast, but it still was pretty fast. I know there's a ton of people who've done things a lot faster in the business. But when I went double diamond, I was able to quit my job as a receptionist. So I literally worked at the school for 10 months and I was like, I'm out. You know, I want to be with my girls. I was able to put them in a university model school where they go to school 2 days of the week and they're home with me 3 days of the week, which was cool, but which is a really awesome school model. But if you can't afford to pay for private school, you can't and be home. It doesn't really work. And so that was a huge blessing. And then going presidential was awesome. Then I sat at presidential for a while and I was still trying to go forward in it. And I know we'll kind of get into some of that, but literally 2016, I've been presidential diamond from 2016 till June 2016 until, last month, 2019. So that was almost 3 years that I was plugging away for ambassador to kind of hit. Sorry, I don't know how to shut this off that my
It's okay.
Texts keep coming through. But yeah, I mean, what it did for us even in those first 2 years was like just things we weren't used to be able to save money, to actually be able to give to a ministry instead of just be like, we're praying for you, like that was a big thing for us to be able to do. Put our girls in things, pay for my daughter's braces. Like, I'm like, wow, God, thank you so much for putting this business in our hands to be able to do some of these things. But one of the biggest blessings that happened was when I went presidential, 3 of my friends came home that month. They got to come home and be with their kids. And that's when I was like, this is legit. Like, this is not just happening for me, but this is happening for my friends and family. And that's what I loved about it. I'm like, if we can just if everybody could just do this that I know, besides taking the greens and like doing the business, I'm like, that's what everybody I know and love needs to be doing. That was like my mission at first. And then honestly, just being able to step outside of my comfort zone, that would be the biggest thing, the priceless thing. When I think of my Because of It works, financially, physically, all those things have been crazy, but to actually step outside of my comfort zone has been priceless. Worth it all.
And I think it's crazy. Okay, so a few things that I just love that you said is, first of all, you paid $99, right? So we've had kits that have been pretty discounted for a while. Yeah. And I feel like people have been like, how am I going to talk about this for $99? I'm like, that's how we all built. Like, you guys, this is crazy. Like, would you spend $99 again for knowing what you know now? I mean, we did it not knowing a single thing. So first of all, take that into consideration, you guys, that she's speaking about that, right? I did the same thing. There are so many, if you join for $99, like, I want to hear from you in the chat, because I've heard that a lot this month. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like, honestly, think about this. Would you like to enroll somebody that's willing to put in $99 and then go ambassador like Stacey? Like, that's the kind of people we are looking to work with, not just people that want to work a couple months. Like, we want to work with them for years, or would you like to enroll, someone like myself that sees this going on for years and years for $99? Like, heck yeah, you guys. Second of all, like, they listened, they were coachable. She's like, we didn't even know, but you guys would say this or that. And you know what? The thing is that was like trickled down. Like, I didn't even know Sherry or Stacey when they first joined. But the thing is when people are hungry, they start reaching out to be like, hey, tell me this. And they're learning, so you're coachable, which is so, so big. And we're just ignorance on fire. So you guys, when you think like there's a special sauce, like, I'm sorry to tell you, but there's not. It's just like, you're coachable, you have some guts, and you have goals. Like, that's really what it comes down to. So total, how much in bonuses have you guys earned?
Okay, between Joey and I, we have earned 145 in bonuses. So
which is just insane, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like, you didn't join for a $10,000 bonus. Like, you thought you were going to hopefully break even. Yeah.
I was like, do I have to run an auto shipment? Like, that scared me out of my mind. I'm like, I already paid, like, I was scared for that. And he's like, oh yeah, you better. Okay. You got to use the product, know that it's great,
Right. And then here's the other thing, you guys, is she pushed really hard for a huge promotion, even without bonuses. Like, when you guys see stories or you think and you see somebody that's ambassador, you're like, oh my gosh, like things must have just fell in perfectly in place. And we're going to talk about that today, but that's not the reality at all. To be honest, even when you see top income earners, there's a lot of them up there that have zero bonuses on their paychecks. Like that, I would have been one of them for a long time. And truthfully, they have a lot more bonuses now being offered than even they did when I started. Like we only had a diamond bonus. There wasn't double diamond. There wasn't triple diamond. And you guys, we were still hungry for that. Like that is still $4,000 extra while I was working a full-time job, or an extra $2,000. Stacey went diamond and that matched her thing. So now she's all of a sudden making $4,000, double what she was before. Like that's crazy. So you kind of have to really humble yourself and keep yourself grounded and think, you know, just because it doesn't go on my timeline, like, or just because there's not the cherry on the top with the rank, like you still will be so happy with what each rank brings for you and the change that does. So Stacey, last month you went ambassador, and I know like that's a lot of moving parts. They've simplified our charting, which is so crazy good for you guys. Like I just feel like not only is it simplified, but I feel like it is going to bring a lot more strength to people's businesses. And that is something that you learn in this business. Like they want you to succeed. I remember that like $10,000 bonus sitting there and I'm like, do they just dangle a carrot in front of you? And then I'm like, when I got it, I'm like, no, I didn't know crap about crap. I joined somebody that had joined like 7 days before that. You guys would be shocked at what we posted because that wouldn't fly anymore. Of what we were doing. I mean, and that's truly the thing. We were just excited, you know? And so tell them what happened. Like there's a lot of moving parts that come into play with that. And I just, I kind of want them to know, like, how do those promotions come together? Because it's not just luck. And it wasn't, you didn't all of a sudden, you know, go presidential and then you were right away ambassador. It wasn't like there's a shift that happened in your business, in the way that you did things, that all of a sudden, after 3 years of being presidential, that your team went ambassador. So can you kind of just share some of that of what happened last month on your team?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can tell you a few things. This is something that will be kind of crazy to think about, but January 2018, my group volume was 50,000. Okay, that was January 2018, a year ago.
Right.
February 2019, my group volume was 175. Okay, so that was February, and then we came into March, and my volume ended at 271. So the volume of my team, how that jumped. I mean, even as a presidential diamond, I know we talk, you know, whatever. I wasn't ranking president all 2018. I wasn't a presidential diamond. Okay, I was ranking triple diamond, and so it was like bouncing between 70 and 80. In the fall up until this year, and something happened. And you know, Cami always talks about you will reap the most of your business, the most of what you're doing right now 18 months from now. And that is to know, okay, we're going to be in this for the long run. Like, yeah, there's a lot of short blessings that happen that are amazing, but there is something about the longevity of what this business offers that can happen. And that I will tell you that mind shift happened about 18 months ago. So that's what I feel like I am reaping a lot of, was like a decision to go, let's do this, Stacey. And honestly, 18 months ago is when Stacey had to have a talk with Stacey and say, you're giving quite a bit, but not all of it, right? There was this little bit of pride in Stacey that said, if it doesn't happen, I can always know I didn't quite sell out my whole self. I don't mean it that way, but like that pride had to go away to go, why? Just go for it. Just go for it. Lay it all out there and really go for it. And so that happened. So our team is, you know, huge. We brought in a ton of volume. I mean, it just started exploding. Like, I was like, okay, we're just going to keep going with momentum. But here's the thing. People always think about overnight success, right? But we always talk about when preparation meets opportunity, success happens. And I always think, like in this business, to like a surfer, like if you're going to catch a wave, you can't just be sitting in the water, right? When the wave comes, you can't just be sitting there. You're not going to ride the wave. But if you're paddling to catch it, and that your paddling hits that wave right, then you ride it in, right? But the other thing about it, I feel like, yeah, we hit a huge wave and we rode it in, but I'm not the surfer that's going to go home after riding one wave. Now I'm going to swim back out there and paddle, and I'm also not the surfer that's going to go, oh, look, everybody else went. Guess it's not for me, because those waves can go by sometimes we miss them, but you got to have that preparation that's happening. And so what happened with our team? Well, we started doing power hours in the morning together. And it's just, we listen to something that feeds us. We do our core 5. We, we post, we message, we follow up, we add to our market, and we do self-development. So we're doing all that stuff every morning. We did that 3 mornings a week. We do one nighttime one while we listen to the Show Me the Money call. We all hop on Show Me the Money and do a power hour together. Love that. So that's something that really started to come back. And then the company, when they gave us something like Thermal Fight X that's like working, we're using it. When we started using it, we're like, this is amazing. Like, how much, ride this. The iron is hot. That's what we kept saying all last month. Y'all, if the iron's hot, you better strike. Do not stop. Do not slow down. Do not miss it. People hit promotions in February and then they just kept riding it into March. And you know what? Our team is riding it this month, and we're going to have some other huge promotions come out this month. And, but a lot of it was a mind shift in me as well. Things I had to let go of was a scarcity mentality. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to get real with y'all, if they're all promoting, then I'm like that, they're all getting it. And, if we think of it's like a piece of pie, if we think of God like everything's a piece of pie, then if somebody gets a bigger piece, that's a smaller piece for me. But that's not how God works. Sun shines on all of us. And so there is so many people out there that need this business, that need our product. And if we can get past comparison and looking at everybody else, trying to figure it out, or also thinking, I'm not going to work this business out of fear. That was a huge shift that had to happen in me. I need to make this happen. I need to go ambassador so I'm validated by everybody, so they can see I'm meant to be here. That was a little bit of how I work this business, but I had to shift from, my validation doesn't come from a rank, but who I am was confirmed by going, you know what I mean? But that's not where it came from. But it confirmed it, oh yeah, you can work it. You can show up every day. You can be faithful. You just keep being faithful and showing up. And it will come. And that's it. Like you said, there's no secret sauce. What I would say is you are your secret sauce. Mm-hmm. You showing up every day is the secret sauce to your business. No one else can do that for you. You have to do that for yourself, but you keep showing up every day and do the things that you know to do. I'm sure you hear everybody's core 4 to 6 all sound the exact same. So if something starts striking, they're like, they keep saying post every day, but I don't think I should post. Post, they keep talking about host to post. Just get on it and ride it. Don't try to recreate some wheel right now when something's working so great. You're the secret sauce. You showing up is what's going to do it.
Yeah. And I really love that, because the thing is we all have fears and it never goes away. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, you either figure out in the beginning how to start overcoming those fears, because they don't go away just because you hit ambassador. They don't go away because, something else might be happening in your personal life that kind of shoots you down or shoots your confidence down. And then all of a sudden that can trickle into your business. It's like, you guys, you have to learn to work within fear, and I think that's the thing you start accepting. The other thing is that, for me, I talk about it too. It wasn't I didn't go here. I thought I had this perfect lineup to go triple. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, something crazy happened, right? We all had people that quit, all that kind of stuff. And that, just like you said, just because they're like, oh, I rode this wave and I'm out. It's like, no. You guys, you make that decision to plant 2 feet. And first of all, that's a huge game changer. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I was there too, because I just didn't know. I didn't understand that this business did have so much longevity. I didn't understand the stability being in longer that comes with it. I didn't understand those things. And you don't know those things until you're just a part of it, And so the thing is I love that you say that, but I always tell people, I'm like, you're going to start with fears and then you're going to find new fears and then more fears are going to come, or somebody says something, And so sometimes it's coming from within, sometimes it's coming from our loved ones. Sometimes it's coming from the closest people, which is really, really hard too. But when you can figure that out and you can work through those things and you understand like, whoa, like just stop for a second, like let's evaluate. And at the end of the day, would stopping or giving into what somebody said or somebody's opinion, is that really going to make me any happier? And you guys, most of the time, if you just stop yourself, like you're going to realize it's not it. And I mean, I had the same thing. Like I was at Double Diamond for a long time and I finally just had to decide, like, Sarah, you want this and you want to go Triple Diamond, take your team to Triple Diamond. Don't let anybody else, don't let your sponsors step in, you can ask her, but you be the person that takes your team to Triple Diamond. And that was such a huge shift in my business. It's just showing up, like you said, doing the things and knowing like, no, you do have something to offer people. Like be you, talk about those things, you know? And so, and I love that you said that because I feel like at some point, and it's different for everybody, right? You went Triple Diamond really fast. Like, and I remember there were some people that were going Triple Diamond and I'm like, holy cow, like they're talking about their checks or they're doing, and I'm like, mine's not that. Like, what am I doing wrong? You know? And then it was funny because then all of a sudden I went presidential and it was like, oh, like you said, that 18-month leg, I went presidential. And then all of a sudden, all that work that I did from Double Diamond, from when I finally made this decision to when I went pres, which if I went back and looked, I bet you it was about 18 to 20 months, that time span. But then my check jumped 19,000 in 1 month. And that's the crazy thing, you guys. So you need to ask yourself, like, are you even thinking into a year? Like I knew in my mind I was going to give this a year. And when I say give it, it wasn't just sign up and sit. Like it was like, I'm going to show up and do what they're telling me to do for a year. But you think about that 18 months, like what if I would have gotten upset? What if you would have gotten upset? It's like, we wouldn't have seen that 18-month harvest, you know? And so that's the crazy thing, you guys. So just think about some of those things. And we all know like success is not a straight line. Like it is messy. It is crazy. Like some days you're like on top of the world because you've enrolled 4 people and tomorrow you're supposed to have these people that go and then all of a sudden it's like crickets. And then by the end of that day, because these people didn't respond or they're like MIA, you all of a sudden are like talking crap to yourself again. Like you guys, we've all been there. It's like boom, boom, boom. Like we joke about it and we're like, holy cow, you know, but it's like, that's where self-development comes in, you know, and that's where showing up with your team in the morning or showing up to things like this to be like, that happened to Stacey, it didn't stop Stacey. That's happened to Sarah, it hasn't stopped Sarah. Like that happened to so-and-so, it hasn't stopped them. So just share. I mean, when you've been in for a long time, and that's the thing, you guys, life is going to happen. Like if you are in here and you're going to go ambassador and you are going to have those options to, you know, have this be a full-time thing possibly, or pay off all your debt. Like it is not going to just be perfect sunshine, no matter what. Even if your business is, your life won't be. And so that's the thing. So can you just share like some of the struggles maybe that you came through, you know, within the last, 4.5 years of building this business that you're like, you know, I kind of had to make a decision so that this didn't take a back burner, or how you, even maybe it was stuff in your business where maybe you had a really good friend that quit or whatever it is and that you had to overcome. Because the truth is if it hasn't happened to you yet, it probably will.
Right. There's always, you know, we always like to say in our team, you can have an excuse or you can have a business, but you can't have both. Okay. And I get it. And I don't want to downplay anybody's excuse or life that has happened to them because it's real. Like life can get real. And here's the other thing about this business. It's kind of like it's a mirror on a lot of your faults. Okay. It's like, I don't want to show up anymore because I keep seeing my faults in this business and I'm like, I'm out. Like I just want to, you know, enjoy, but it challenges you. Like you said, it's a constant challenge to grow. And that's where self-development is so key. So when I think about the last 4 years, even this last year, you know, I mean, yeah, there have been some rough times in our marriage where time felt funky and like, am I going to go forward with it? Can I do both? Can I invest in that and invest in this? And the answer is yes. You know, you're stronger than you think. I've been built for ambassador 3 different times up until this time, 3 different times. And so you know, like my double diamond for presidential is an executive box, you know, at this point. And And so just knowing, yeah, I had really close friends that said, hey, let's go do this. And then all of a sudden they just were like disappeared. Like, let's, we were like, she was my party girl and we just partied. And she's like, I can't, she didn't even tell me she was done and she was gone, but that one of the things I felt like is it's a decision of where you're going to look. And somebody already wrote this, but you steer where you steer. That's so true. And if I had kept looking at the people who tried it, the people who had so much potential, the people who, and you're just wishing and hoping for all these people. And that's why I love when I heard that. And I repeated on the Show Me the Money call was you can't fall in love with people's potential. You have to fall in love with their work, and people will surprise you. Some of the people who you think will be amazing at this, it might not be the right time for them. And then some of the people who you think, oh, please don't even sign up. I don't even, like I feel bad sometimes. I'll think that. I'm like, and then they blow you away. So I can really sit here and say this business is no respecter of person. But when I think about, being a presidential and going down to a triple diamond, that wasn't fun. That didn't feel fun, especially when I had made a decision like, I'm in this, I'm going to push and we're going to go. And, you felt like you were investing. And like I said, 18 months ago, nothing changed in my check the first month I decided that. Nothing changed in my check the second month I decided that, or the third or the fourth. And then it went up a little bit, the fifth and sixth, and then it went down again. And honestly, some of the lowest checks I got in the business were this last fall. And I'm so glad, like you said, I didn't give up then. And I mean, that's just the grace of God, and somehow you don't quit. That's why I will say the only mistake I haven't made in this business is that I haven't quit. And that's the only real mistake you can make. All the other things can come, they're fixable, you can do it. But if you quit, you're letting go. I mean, there are people who've quit and started back over again, but I'm just telling you, they don't wish they quit. They wish they had stuck through it and sat through some stuff that was hard and uncomfortable and not good. And, we made some wise choices, but it came to, I wanted my girls to go to this school. And guess what? That's all that we could afford. So it's like, I'm trying to post about make money from your phone and this is awesome. And I'm going, yeah, we can, but this was the most important thing. So figuring out what that most important thing was, something that was really important for us to do, for me to stay in here, because, some of it just wasn't worth it, but it was worth it for my girls. I had those whys, like it's worth it for them to go to the school they want. Then I kept thinking about my team. What about the people who just joined me last week if I feel like quitting today? And I was like, yes, I'm going to help you and be here. I'm like, I'm not going to diss out on these guys. I can't do that, as much as I want to. There were moments of that. Even last month, my husband's dad was in the hospital with heart stuff. We went through some hard stuff right there with that. This past year, Joy was like, hey, we might need, I don't know if the Lord's telling us to move to Africa. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you doing to me? We had job options coming everywhere for him. And it felt like it was pulling my attention and his attention everywhere. And we just had to make a choice to hone in and go, God's got us. We're just going to trust, but this is what's in my hands right now. And I'm going to steward well what is in my hands. And I think that's one of the things in the business. Sometimes we look at it like, oh, maybe I just started and I have a person who joined me and they're not doing anything and I don't want to help them build their business. But you have to work with what you got until what you got changes. Yeah. You have to be a good steward of what you got until what you got changes. And you know what? That person might change. That might be the thing that change. Or it's somebody else that comes into your business and takes off. I remember when I talk about you being the secret sauce in your business, running a power hour and not even wanting to be on the power hour, but because I was running it, I'm like, I better show up. And I'm like, okay, we're having a Facebook party tonight. We're going to invite people. Pick a letter. I'm so not there. Pick a letter of who you're going to invite. Like, just pick whatever the last name is. And I remember one of the girls, I'm like, she told me she never wants to do this business. I'm just going to send it anyways. I'm just going through the list. And you know what? 3 days later, she called me. She's like, how are you making this money? I need to join. And she's one of my triple diamonds on my ambassador chart.
So she went triple diamond in how long?
In a year and a half.
That's
went diamond in 3 months and double in 6.
Yes. And so again, like you talk about people's stories, right? And people think my story is incredible. I didn't go triple diamond in a year and a half. Like it took me longer to do that, and I think that's the thing that I just, like even last month, like you said, and I tell people this all the time, I'm like, your promotion months, I swear to you, you guys, things that you never could imagine going wrong, like show up, and it like multiplies super freaking quickly. And that's just what it does. Like I remember when I was just even on my 2.0 going diamond, and I was like, first of all, my husband's gone for the week, right? Because he's working and he's like away. So I'm like single mom in it. Okay, I got this. It's 1 week, right? Well, then my husband comes home sick. He's got influenza. Well, then he gives it to each of my kids. And I'm like, are you freaking joking? Like 3 weeks of like sick kids, single. And I'm like, I spent the whole month like that. Like, you know, not how I envisioned it, but honestly, I'm like, I am not letting go of this. Like that promotion is not just mine. That means I have emeralds popping. There's tons of rubies popping. Like I'm not giving up on that step. And it's just a decision of making that. And like you said, it's not that life doesn't happen. It's not that that's not real, because it is. Like the feelings are real. The awfulness of some of it is real. However, I also have learned in this business that allowing those things to really distract me have never made it better. And so I've just realized, like, who cares? Even if it's 9 p.m. and you still haven't done anything, I'm like, you know what's going to make me feel good at night is that I just even nail out 1 power hour for myself. And like you said, the core 5, you know, or your core 4 to 6, it doesn't change, you guys. It's the same for every single person. And so, you know, I think that's the one thing I always want to say, or you have people quit. And you guys, that's the crazy thing. Like if I pulled up my diamond map and who was my emerald, she's not even in the business anymore. Like if you're going to go when people go, like you're literally putting your fate and your success in somebody else's hands, which is something you just have to decide not to do, you know? And even when I look at some of my other ones or people who have quit, I'm like, they literally have triple ambassador volume. Like had they stuck, like, which if I told them that, they would probably want to throw up. They would be like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? So I just love all of it, because I just think it doesn't come without struggle. It doesn't come without commitment. It doesn't come, you know, without the fears or anything like that. And I think people just need to know that. Like that's honestly just a big portion of it. It makes you extremely relatable, not only to your potentials, but it makes you a better leader. Like if I just was like rolled up and was like, you guys, nothing bad has ever happened. Like my journey has been perfect. I'm sorry your friends suck and no one's ever told me no. And you guys would be like, who the freak is this chick, right? But instead, when I can say, no, I've lost rank before, but it didn't define me. Like what it told me is like, it showed me 100% like, no, I don't want to let this go. Like I'm going to go, you know, and even just like you said, it's like, you guys, you can technically be having growth and not see it for 5 months, which is crazy, right? But I also tell people like, okay, if you felt like that and you worked hard and you had some of your best enrollments and numbers that you've ever had and you felt amazing, you had change within you, and that's where it has to start. Like truthfully, that's where it has to start. So I love that you kind of touched on those things. And so here's the thing, Stacey's bomb at host to post. And she did not always do host to post. We did not always have host to post. We didn't even know it was a thing, right? So she told you in the beginning, they were partying, they were face to face, they were belly to belly doing things. And then things switch because you start working with your cold network. And yes, you can still do that with partying, but also life changes. Like I did a lot of belly to belly too, but then my kids' schedule got nuts and I'm like, how would I even, like my evenings are gone. Like when I work my business, it has to be in the morning. It has to be in the daytime. It has to be once bedtime's over. Well, I can't host a party at 9 p.m., right? And so you take these shifts with life and it's always going to look different. But I really do, like so many people want to be successful at host to post. And honestly, I think it's hands down freaking amazing. I think it's extremely duplicatable. However, I think people have to understand that there's a numbers game involved with it. It's not just asking 10 people, because you're not going to get all 10 people to post for you. So I would love for you, and Stacey was so kind, you guys, to share the wording. And I'm going to, while she's talking about that, I'm going to go snag it in the message and I'm going to post it in our chat for you guys so that you can see just kind of one of hers. And she's really honed in on Thermophyte X. But can you just kind of share? So here's the thing, you guys, you don't get to ambassador by working this business when you want to, by working it when you're bored, right? I couldn't even tell you the last time I've ever been bored. So if I waited to get to the gym, work my business, do really anything when I'm bored, it would never happen. Okay, so I'm just going to be really honest. There's days that I'm sure Stacey's like, dude, I don't want to talk to people today. I don't want to, lift people up because they're like totally given into what's bringing them down, but it's like, but at the end of the day, when you run this like a business, that is how you move forward. That is how you make life-changing money. That's how you earn $145,000 just in bonuses, even though you joined this to break even, right? And to kind of appease your really cute, awesome sister, right? So it's like those things, I just want you to know that. So, and it's the same thing with host to post. It is not like, oh, I'm going to ask just 3 people. Those 3 people probably may not even respond. So if you're looking to get some of those numbers, so first of all, with host to post, how many do you think first of all, do you feel like you're getting DTs, some of your DT enrollments from host to post?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Which is super awesome, right? Because we keep hearing about DTs. I need DTs. And that is a big fear of a lot of people's when you start. You're like, I mean, if Danielle would have been like, hey, do you know who's going to be on your team? I would have been like, no, I can't even believe I'm joining right now, first of all. So we are going to get to that, but let me just start. None of us know. So if you're there, you're like, I don't know where to start. First of all, start with the core 4 to 6 that we're talking about on a regular basis. If you don't know that, tell me or post it in the chat because we'll hurry up and write it out for you. Second of all, you don't know. You're gonna find the people because the truth is I've been in this long enough, so is Stacey, to tell you people are looking and praying for what we have our hands on. But are you gonna be bold enough to share out loud and invite people in? It is, if you're waiting for everybody to come to you, you guys, you're putting your timetable of success in somebody else's hands. Okay. So you have to decide, like, are you okay with that? Cool if you are, but don't get frustrated then when it's not happening on your timeline, right? And so she's getting lots of distributors from that. How many, like, on average, right? So our main goal is 4 customers, but how many on average do you feel like you definitely have upped your enrollments? How many on average do you think that you get for loyal customers because of your host to post and how consistent you are with it and keeping it rolling?
Each month, like with customers.
Yeah.
So I would say I am not a mass enroller, but I'm like, honestly, until this last year, I would probably say steps to success girl. And that usually means maybe a little less than steps to success. If we're honest, I have some massive enrollers on my team and that works for them. But since doing host to post, I doubled, triple the DTs. And then I would say I'm averaging 30 from host to post loyal customers, 30 to 40 loyal customers a month with that.
So crazy. Okay. So I just want you guys to hear that. Like, there are some mass enrollers, right? And I remember even when I started hearing people do that, I'm like, I don't even get how they're doing it. Like, I was just like, wow, like, I work hard, right? And you guys are thinking that too. Sometimes it just takes the time to come, right? So I don't ever want you to think that you're not working hard, but you also do have to be real with yourself. Like, am I actually doing what Stacey's going to talk about right now? Because if not, you're probably not going to get Stacey's results, And so that's the thing. But the thing is too, is at any point in time, you can make a decision to change that or to learn something new that does up your numbers, that can speed up your momentum. Like, she just talked about how her volume in 2018 was 50,000. And then you ended last month at, what did you say? 175? No, you said something.
271. Mm-hmm.
271. Like, that's a year time span. Like, that's insane, right? Because you have to think, you guys, even if you, right where you are right now, if you added 100, no, what'd you say? 50. Oh my God. That's like 221,000 in volume to where you are at. Would you be like, heck yeah, I'm going to show up every single day for the next 365 days? Like, I think a lot of you would raise your hands and be like, I'm here. So zone in on your host to post, because people are really wanting to become very good at that. And it's so funny because who we had on last time too is doing the same exact thing, is host to post. Awesome. So I'm super excited to hear all that you have to share about that.
Awesome. And I love one thing you said. I wanted to add to it because I know Kelly Brown did one of your, and she's so fun.
Yeah.
$400 on my double diamond.
What?
Yeah.
Kelly Brown, my gosh. Okay. So you guys remember Kelly Brown. Remember, she's like, to the window, to the wall, to like, she starts rapping. She goes off on her tangents. No. And you know what's funny is Kelly Brown actually brought that up. She was like, I think Stacey put me 47 levels deep, and we're like, dude, she's not going to do anything.
I didn't think she wasn't going to do anything. I needed somebody in that box. I'm like, well.
So funny. Yeah. And that's the other thing, you guys, is you're going to learn that too, is that it doesn't have to be exactly how it's on your map. Like, you are just going to find some amazing people that you get to link arms with that have a vision that kind of matches yours. And when you find that, it's like, dang, that is part of the secret sauce. Just saying. Okay, so go ahead and go in there, and I'm gonna share your stuff that you sent me today.
Sure. With Host to Post, man, this thing has just been working, and it is my team. Like, literally, I had a girl message me today. She's like, I signed 10 loyal customers today with that Host to Post. I'm like, they all came in today. So, that's happening in multiple places on my team, which I love. And so I would say, if this was John Maxwell talking to you, this would be the moment where he said, my name is John and I'm your friend. You need to do Host to Post. Okay. That's usually like his line before he's like, if you're not doing it, you need to do this. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. And so when I think about Host to Post, how we did it to change it, because I did start with just messaging people and asking them to do a favor for me. Okay. Just, hey, would you do me a favor? And I went through alphabetically. Now that has changed on the apps on Facebook. And so you can't really find your alphabetical list anymore. And so putting all that aside, what we did is we joined together as a team and put in some different prizes. Okay. So we were giving away $100 a week. We were at one point just giving $100 away a month because that's what we had. People doesn't have to be, I don't necessarily think the prize has to be anything super big. It's just people are excited about, okay, we've tried different stuff, different wow factors, but we post about it. So the one that I'm doing right now, we were giving away $1,200 this month. Okay. But last month we gave away $400. Okay. So that's the month I went ambassador. We just gave away $100 a week. So it's literally, I put the post, I'm giving away $400, no purchase necessary, drop an emoji to enter. Post that at a good time, nighttime, when people are going to bed and thinking about having to get up to work tomorrow or whatever their bills are, whatever they're thinking about. Drop an emoji to enter. That's it. And everybody puts their emojis under there, and you watch it start taking off. Okay. Tell them you're going to message them. Mm-hmm. You message them. I take a screenshot of that post. I send them the screenshot and say, and you have this too, hey friend, or put in their name, because you don't want to get blocked by Facebook. If your post really blows up, you don't want to be like copy and pasting this in. Secret side note, Wordboard is an amazing app that changed my life. If you don't have it, it's like text replacement, but 10 times better. It costs $10, but worth the time that it has saved me. But basically, all you have to do is, for an entry, is put a post I give you on your wall. Are you up for that? And they say yes. You know, not everybody does, though. I'll be honest. If you go into my page right now, you'll see I have over 400 comments on my post from last Thursday, which I'm going to have to post again for this weekend for our giveaway. Ask them, they say yes, then I'd say, great, thank you so much. Just tag me in this post and I'll do the rest. And then they put up the post. We're doing thermal fight. 2 pills, 90 days, 31 gone. My friend Stacey is looking for 10 people to try our new weight loss product. Clinically proven, who's in. What do you do when they comment? Look, I wish I could show you numbers, but Sarah, you're so right. It's a numbers game. A lot of this business is a numbers game. So you're going to ask people, people are going to tell you, yes, they're going to post, they're not going to post. There's also a lot of follow-up that needs to happen with this, but it's worth your time. I would say getting up 10 host to post, 10 to 20 host to post a day is when you're going to see some really big numbers. To be honest, I'm probably average around 10. Okay, 5 to 10 a day that actually get up and out there. But I do a lot of following up and reboosting posts that go up. Okay. So literally someone says, I want to try it. You friend request them. If you don't want to get blocked by Facebook, don't message too many people that you're not friends with, and go slow enough, but you friend request them. And then when they do it, I take a screenshot of that post that, you know, Sarah posted for me. Hey, I'm so glad you noticed this post. Are you interested in more info? They say yes. And then I literally, it's that, Thermal Fight X contains green, send that. And then I'll say, and then I send the next paragraph immediately. The best way to go price-wise is definitely by joining our 90-day challenge. So I'm explaining that up front. If I get questions on it, I'm just going to say you're going to get the best results in the 90 days, but the post already talks about that. And then, we go from there, and it's fun when they say yes. People will say yes immediately. And some people take their time. One of the things you're going to want to do is post before and afters, like corporate approved before and afters of ThermoFight X in the next few days after you've done this host to post and you're talking to people. You have new friends. What's awesome about it is now you have friends in your feed who want to lose weight. And what do you have to offer? Right? Products that help people lose weight and feel better about themselves, or energy. And so I don't just post about ThermoFight X too. Sometimes, like a lot of times when I post about the cleanse, people who are interested in this that have gone silent, they're pumped about trying the cleanse, and they jump in on the cleanse and they're like, oh, is the ThermoFight X there too? And so it all goes hand in hand together. And then I post again that I'm giving away money again this weekend. And then they're like, oh, I want money too. And then they post about it. That makes sense. It just all rolls over in so many different ways. And so when people post it immediately, like when somebody posts a post for you, what you want to immediately do is comment on it, because it helps go up in their algorithms. But I do have a follow-up system with that post too. Every Thursday, I will go back and post under any posts that were done for me that week and say, I'm so excited, I'm putting in orders today. And I put a before and after under that post. And then what happens is my message box goes, oh, hey, do you still have that spot? Because they see that before and after. So it's a little bit strategic. I don't put a before and after immediately. I put it in the comments in a few days later. And then we go back from that. If you have, this was one script I didn't share with you, which I can send it to you, but it's simple. But if you have people who said they were going to host a post for you and didn't, my follow-up with them is always like, hey, I'm putting in the entries for Sunday's drawing. Did you get a chance to post? I want to make sure to get your entry in. So that's my follow-up with that. Oh yeah, let me get to it really quick, right? Because people have a bunch of different priorities, and posting for you on social media might not be, or even, trying the ThermoFight X might not be immediately, but then they see it again, they're like, oh, it becomes a priority. And so that follow-up is a huge, huge key. Anybody, here's another side note, anybody who which Amanda talks about this, but anybody who gets 2 comments gets a message from me immediately. You have such interest in this business with your friends, in our products. Do you want to make a little extra money? I would love to do this business with you. I would love to partner with you. It would be so fun. So they get an immediate message. And here's the thing, if you're worried about DTs, I've rarely signed somebody I've asked immediately to join me. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the people I've asked have joined me. Does that make sense? That first ask is a seed that you're planting. And then as you post about if you're just getting started in the business, what are you going to do when you make that $300 that you're like just so ready to make? Mm-hmm. Like, I can't believe from my phone, I am going to be able to do our car payment. That's a big deal for people. Or I can't believe from my phone, I paid for family pizza night tonight. Or my Starbucks run, right? How many couples are getting in fights because of their Starbucks bill right now?
Or Target.
Yeah, anything. Diapers.
Yeah.
We think, oh, well, I can't post that I made $140,000 in bonuses. That's not real to people. What's real to them is that you just put gas in your car and didn't have to think about where it was going to come from. And so, anyways, sorry, I got on a tangent there, but when you're asking people to join you and they see different ways, things that you're paying for that, It Works paid for my daughter's braces. I'm so glad. It Works paid for my daughter's dance recital. Hey, watch out for this, Sarah. Dance recital dresses. Like, there's 5 of them you have to buy, and they're like $100 each. I'm like, are you kidding me? Who did this? Anyways, but could you explain the app WordBoard is? I can show it to you, and I can send a picture of it to Sarah too.
Yes.
So
I don't have that either. Like, what? I don't have WordBoard.
Okay, look, WordBoard, it's right here.
Okay,
you go there. That's it, and you can put it in real easy. What I like about it is it keeps all the spaces in like, what I didn't like about text replacement is everything gets all jumbled, and then you're like trying to figure out where the next paragraph is and such. But okay, so that's what it looks like, and you simply add. But Oh, of course, my phone sometimes decides I've done too much. But it's just like your emoji, how you get to your emojis, right? And then here it is, word board. Okay, so it's phrases. I don't have to remember my phrase for my thing. So, here's my first board. Remember how I was going to send you that thing? I just put that there, and it's all right there, emojis, spaced, and done.
Oh, so nice. So nice. So you guys, these are those things that it's like, when we come together, we will find ways to work smarter, not harder. Like, no one continues to do this business and no one starts this business because they have time. Okay. Like, right. We do this because of the opportunities and choices it allows us to make. Like, that's the God honest truth. Like, I have never needed to have anything extremely fancy. I can tell you, when you talk to people, even if they have bought fancy, okay, I will tell you the first things you're going to hear out of their mouth: I get to pay to have my kids at a good school. I get to pay for their sporting events. Like, if they got, or like, you were able to put so much time as your daughter landed this amazing role in a play, right? That takes a lot of running to and from. Like, I think about those things. Like, when Grady made this elite team, you guys, it's like you say yes in 48 hours. And with that yes comes a $3,000 down payment. Like, what? Mm-hmm. That would not, like, yes, I made awesome money as a nurse, but we did not have $3,000 just at our expense off of that stuff, And so, and then it's funny because we talk about this, right? Like, you didn't know that you were ever going to want to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't either. Like, Kevin was like, you don't want to stay at home? I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, look at our bill. Like, I was like, how the heck would that even happen? And I think you tell yourself, like, no. Like, and honestly, I don't know why I said that. I did love my career. I've always worked. Like, it just has, I've worked for so long, right? But it's like, you actually have no idea what is going to pop up in the future or how you'll feel at that time. And, and I know Lindsay's on here, and it's like, Lindsay didn't start It Works to pay for IVF. But guess what? At some point, she just did her 7 years. Guess what? Year 4 or 5, she wants to have a baby. And now It Works she's built it up for 5 years, and it's paying cash for her IVF. Like, you don't know what's coming, And so it's like, I always say, like, when they say we are so blessed to be a blessing, my gosh, like, are we ever? And so it's like, how about, instead of thinking, well, I don't need this right now, I can pay my bills and blah, blah, but what if something's coming up? Are you okay to fork over this or that or this? Like, maybe he's preparing you right now to be able to just easily make that decision with zero stress, And so it's so crazy because we think about stuff like that, and it's like, you just don't know what you don't know, And just like you said, if we're saying post, or if Stacey's saying, like, use this wording, use word board, like, save yourself some time, like, get 10 yeses a day. My gosh, don't settle for 3 yeses. Go for the 10 if you want 30 LCs, or you want your volume to go up 221,000 in a year. Like, that's insane, you guys, And so, and it's like, you know what, that made him not have that jump in the first year, but because you did it for 4.5 years, you got to see that. And so that's the crazy part about all of it. So last thing, I told you, we always go a little over. I'm so sorry, but Stacey, you have good stuff. So this is the last thing. I even skipped some questions, you guys. But if you knew what you know now when you started, what would you tell yourself?
If I knew now what I would do a lot more things I was scared of faster. But we don't know our journey. You know what I mean? I think sometimes I would look at somebody and say I could never be them and disqualify myself, but I don't have to be them immediately. I just have to take the next step. So that's what I go back and tell myself, Stacey, take that next step a little bit faster. Do it a little more scared. It's okay. You don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to, see yourself there. Just go for it. What do you have to lose by going all in immediately and just jumping, don't hold back. And don't be scared. And so, we said it, there's always new fears, like just what you said, like it's not like, oh, I went ambassador and okay, great.
And you honestly, you always will find a way to doubt yourself. And it's so really, it's not about, will I stop doubting myself? It's more so, how do I know how to overcome that? And honestly, for me, it's usually going and listening to something, going and listening to the Show Me the Money call, which is why I don't skip it, you know? And it's like, I don't care if I'm in the car, whatever it is, you know, or it's like getting up the next day to be like, you're not having another 24 hours like you ended the last 6 hours of your Friday. Like you're going to come and you're going to have a whole new Saturday, you know? And then one other thing is, what is one thing that you are like, you know what? I am freaking glad that that is what I did, you know, even not knowing what was coming. Like when you started, what is one thing that you're like, I did that well and that served me well?
I did that well and served me well. You know what? You said it first and I've said it again. I did this religiously. I've done this religiously through the whole business. Is I would think it started with 3 people, right? We got to grow with it. But I would ask myself, who are 3 people I would love to do this business with? Every week, I would ask myself that. And I would ask those 3 people. And then it changed to 10. Okay. So I just go, who are 3 people I would love to do this business with? I don't know who I heard this from or where I learned it, but then I would just say, hey, I was asked who would be the top 3 people I would love to do this business with. And you immediately came to mind. Have you ever thought about it? That, and I've always asked my loyal customers if they've wanted to join the business. And that's another thing I'll be honest about. Kelly was a loyal customer who joined the business. I have 4 people who went diamond last month, personally enrolled, that were loyal customers I asked to do the business. So when they're there, they're in, I'm like, do you want to do this business with me? You love the products. Like you can make extra money. Those would be things, just inviting. And you know why I think that came? If Sherry Lynn never asked me to do this business, I would never have. To this day, I can tell you my personality, I would never have asked her to join her. Never. And I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm the first ambassador.
Isn't that awesome? That made me so excited, by the way. So, what were you, what number DT for her? Do you know?
I think I was like 3 or 4 right in there.
Okay. That's so crazy to me. And that's the thing, like that's what we all pray for, right? We want people to stay. Is that something that we can control? Not a chance. And you know what, you guys, the one thing that I always say that I can control, even if somebody quits on me, if I followed, would I in any way ever inspire that person again? Like, I just think I'm like, what is the best way that I could honestly help somebody that has quit on themselves? And I'm like, you know what it is to keep going, to keep showing our team succeeding forward and to say, welcome back. Like, and it happens all the freaking time. That's the crazy thing. And so the one thing that I love that you said, out of all the things that you said when you talk about numbers, right? Your 3 came from our steps to success, but you asked. You guys, you have got to ask people. Like, stop being scared. What if somebody is waiting for you to ask and you never ask, but then I swoop in or Stacey swoops in because we aren't scared to ask, and then they sign up. Like, I've had that happen too, that I was like, oh my God, I took too long to message that girl and I see her being freaking welcomed. Maybe not even to It Works, but to something else. And I'm like, Sarah, gosh dang it. Like, you know, this is the best company to be with, you know? So I love that. And so thank you so much.
Yes.
I mean, right? I always say, I'm like, I don't ever want to be somebody's second company, because then I'm like having to work against like, what happened in this or this. The truth is we're not going to be the same as anything else. Right. And you guys will hear that too. Like, I've done businesses, that's fine, but have you done it works? Like, I'm serious. Like, I joke all the time and I'm like, I won the lot, like 50-50. I always get it wrong. There was no other like second option. So I think that's why I got it right. But I always joke, I'm like, you guys, finding the right company my first time of signing up for something that I was so scared and skeptical to do, but also super excited knowing like, this is actually probably my ticket. Like, finding the right company though is like winning the lottery to me. I say it all the time and people are like, what? And I'm like, no, seriously, like winning the freaking lottery. So I always hope to be that person that I'm like, I want It Works to be your first company, you know? And if it's somebody's second, that's fine. But just know, like, you kind of have to, you're working against things, but I'm like, gosh, dang it. Like, you will have those things happen. And I think just like you or just like me, I'm like, that is never happening again. So when I think it, or I think of somebody when I'm scrolling, like, I need to ask that person, I just do it right then and there. And I don't have a spiel. I just say what you said. Seriously, I've been thinking of asking and offering this to you. And if somebody wouldn't have offered it to me, I never would have done it. So here's your invite. Would you like to make some extra money use product at an insane discount and even earn free product. What do you think? Like, that is literally my message to people. So, and then obviously we're present in posts and we're present in stories, which kind of serves as a nice little reminder, right? And that's when you get people that pop in your inbox. So, okay, thank you so much, Stacey. And if you think of anything, like, I can always come back and add anything in there, but I appreciate you so much in spending the night with us. Tell Joey thank you, since you've been on a call for the last 3 nights, and your girls. But they're probably like, no, Mom, go. Like, you're freaking awesome. So
they're pumped. If Joey were here, he would tell y'all you can and you will. And that's when right. You do, to God be the glory, but you can and you will, y'all. So
yep, that's exactly right. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night, you guys.